8 years. 8 years of I love you. 8 years of you're overthinking it. 8 years of him swearing he was just visiting his kids. And all of it, every single word, was a lie. He was cheating. The entire time. With multiple women. Even paying his ex for it. And when she finally confronted him with proof he couldn't deny, he went silent. Just disappeared. But she didn't. If you've ever trusted someone completely, only to discover they were lying to your face the whole time, if you've ever felt that gut-wrenching moment when everything you believed shatters, then this story is going to hit deep. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe if revenge stories help you sleep at night, and settle in. Because this one's about a woman who spent 8 years being gaslit and how she made absolutely sure he'd regret every second of it. Let me paint the picture for you. My friend, we'll call her Sarah, had been with this guy for 8 years. 8. That's not a fling. That's not some casual relationship. That's nearly a decade of your life. They met in their early 20s. He was charming. Funny. The kind of guy who could make you laugh even on your worst days. He had kids from a previous relationship, which Sarah respected. She never tried to replace their mother. Never overstepped. She understood that co-parenting was complicated. And he seemed devoted. He'd tell her he loved her every day. Talk about their future. Make plans for vacations they'd take someday. He even kept some of his stuff at her place, clothes in her closet, an old car parked in her driveway that he was going to fix up someday. From the outside, it looked solid. But Sarah had this feeling. You know the one. That quiet, nagging voice in the back of your mind that something isn't right. The kind of feeling you try to push down because you don't want to be that girlfriend. The paranoid one. The insecure one. But the feeling wouldn't go away. It started small. He'd go back to his hometown every other weekend to see the kids. Which made sense. Good dad, right? Involved father. Except, the trips started getting longer. More frequent. I need to stay an extra day, the kids have a thing. My ex needs help with something, I'll be back Tuesday. Sorry, babe, signal's bad out here, I'll call you tomorrow. And when Sarah would ask questions, innocent questions, like, how are the kids, or what did you guys do this weekend? His answers were always vague. Oh, just hung out. Took them to the park. Nothing special. Never details. Never stories. Just surface-level responses that felt rehearsed. Sarah started noticing other things too. He'd get texts late at night and angle his phone away from her. He'd shower the second he got back from his trips, even if it was the middle of the afternoon. His stories didn't always line up. He'd say he was at his ex's house, then accidentally mention being somewhere else entirely. So she asked, "Hey, is everything okay? You've been kind of distant lately." And that's when the gaslighting started. Distant? What are you talking about? I just feel like... Sarah, you're overthinking. Again. You always do this. I'm not trying to. Do you not trust me? After all this time. And just like that, she became the problem. Her concerns became paranoia. Her gut feelings became accusations. He'd sigh. Look hurt. Make her feel guilty for even bringing it up. I'm just trying to be a good dad. And you're making me feel like a criminal. So she'd apologize. Every single time. She'd tell herself she was being irrational. That she was lucky to have a guy who cared about his kids. That her insecurities were her own problem to deal with. But the feeling never went away. Then, one night, Sarah got a message. From a woman she'd never met. It was late. She was already in bed, scrolling through her phone, trying to fall asleep. Her boyfriend was out of town again, another visit with the kids. The message was short. Direct. I think you should know something about your boyfriend. Sarah's stomach dropped. She stared at the screen for what felt like forever. Heart pounding. Hands shaking. She almost didn't respond. Part of her wanted to delete it. Pretend she never saw it. Because once you open that door, you can't close it. But she typed back. Who is this? The woman responded immediately. Someone who's been seeing him. And I just found out about you. Sarah felt the room tilt. She sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake, adrenaline flooding her system. What do you mean seeing him? And then the woman sent screenshots. Text messages. Photos. Timestamps. Messages between her and Sarah's boyfriend. Flirty. Explicit. Planning meetups. Making plans while he was supposedly with his kids. The dates lined up perfectly with his trips out of town. But it got worse. The woman wasn't the only one. She sent more screenshots. Messages in group chats. Other women. Conversations where he bragged about juggling multiple relationships. Laughing about how easy it was to keep everyone in the dark. And then, the final blow. Screenshots of Venmo transactions. Payments to his ex. With captions like "for last night" and "same time next week." He was paying his ex. For sex. While telling Sarah he was there to see his kids. Sarah couldn't breathe. 8 years. 8 years of "I love you." 8 years of her doubting herself, apologizing for being paranoid, letting him make her feel crazy for asking questions. And all of it, every single moment, was a lie. Sarah didn't sleep that night. She spent hours going through everything. Rereading the messages. Looking at the timestamps. Matching them up with her own memories, the nights he said he'd call and didn't, the weekends he came home smelling like someone else's perfume, the times she caught him in small lies and he convinced her she was remembering wrong. It all made sense now. And she was done. The next morning, she sent him everything. All the screenshots. All the proof. No explanation. No questions. Just the evidence. Undeniable. Irrefutable. And then she waited. Hours passed. No response. She called. Straight to voicemail. Texted. Read receipts on, but no reply. He just vanished. Blocked her on everything. Went completely radio silent. Like 8 years meant nothing. Like she meant nothing. And that's when the devastation turned into something else. Rage. Sarah called me that afternoon. I could hear it in her voice before she even said anything. That hollow, shaky tone that comes after you've cried so hard you don't have tears left. He's gone, she said. Just gone. I drove over immediately. When I got there, she was sitting on her couch, staring at nothing. Eyes red. Face blank. I gave him 8 years, she whispered. And he just walked away. Like I was nothing. I sat down next to her. Didn't say anything. Just let her talk. He didn't even try to explain. Didn't apologize. Just blocked me and disappeared. She looked around her apartment. At his jacket hanging by the door. His shoes by the couch. The pile of his clothes still in her closet. He left all his stuff here, she said quietly. Like he's planning to come back whenever he feels like it. Like I'm supposed to just wait for him. That's when I saw it. That shift. The devastation hardening into something sharper. I don't want him back, she said, voice steady now. I want him to regret every lie he ever told me. I looked at her. So, what do you want to do? She was quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. Not a happy smile. A dangerous one. I want revenge. We spent the next few hours brainstorming. Sarah didn't want to do anything illegal. She wasn't going to slash his tires or destroy his stuff. She wasn't that person. But she also wasn't going to let him just walk away unscathed. So we got creative. The clothes. All those clothes he left at her place? Designer jeans. Expensive jackets. His favorite sneakers. Sarah bagged them all up. Every single item. Then she donated them. Not to Goodwill. To a women's shelter across town. The kind of place that's hard to track down donations from. Gone. Permanently. The car. That old car sitting in her driveway? The one he'd been planning to fix for 3 years? Sarah looked up the local laws. Turns out, if a vehicle is left on private property for more than 30 days without the owner's consent, it can be considered abandoned. She called a towing company. Had it towed to an impound lot. Now if he wanted it back, he'd have to pay impound fees. Storage fees. Towing fees. Hundreds of dollars. For a car that didn't even run. The truth. This was the big one. Sarah didn't blast him on social media. Didn't send angry messages to his friends and family. She did something smarter. She reached out to the other women. The ones he'd been seeing. The ones who had no idea about each other. And she told them the truth. Calmly. With receipts. showed them the same screenshots she'd received. The timeline, the lies he'd told, all of them. Some of them didn't believe her at first, but most did. And one by one, they started cutting him off, blocking him, exposing him in their own circles. His reputation? Destroyed. His web of lies? Unraveled. And Sarah? Sarah got to watch it all fall apart. 3 weeks later, he finally reached out. A text. At 2 a.m. We need to talk. Sarah stared at her phone, almost laughed. She didn't respond. He tried calling. She didn't answer. Then he showed up. At her apartment. Knocking on her door. She opened it. Didn't let him in. He looked awful. Tired. Desperate. Where's my stuff? He asked. Donated. His face went pale. What? You can't. I can. And I did. And my car? Impound lot. Been there almost a month. You'll need about $600 to get it out. He stared at her. Speechless. You can't do this, he finally said. Sarah smiled. Cold. Calm. I just did. He tried to argue. Tried to guilt her. Tried to play the victim. But Sarah didn't flinch. You spent 8 years lying to me. Gaslighting me. Making me feel crazy for trusting my gut. You don't get to stand here and act like I owe you anything. She stepped back. Lose my number. Lose my address. And don't ever contact me again. Then she closed the door. And locked it. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about taking back your power. Your space. Your peace. And sometimes, the best revenge is just moving on. And making sure they can't follow. If this story resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever had to cut someone out of your life completely? How did you do it? And if you want more stories about people who took back their power, make sure you're subscribed. We've got plenty more coming your way. Sleep well. And remember, you deserve better than someone who makes you doubt yourself.